Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rob. I'm one of the co-founders here at Simply Be Found.
And my name is Dean Kaler, and I'm also a co-founder, and I'd like to welcome everybody to hear what we have to talk about today.
So one of the big things that we started this company as is we started to be single or small business first minded versus being designed for enterprise. We did that based on feedback I've heard throughout my years of being in marketing and web development and all of those things. Dean, I know you bring a lot of to the table with your business, and you were a client of mine before we started this venture together 3 years ago. But it's one of those things to where a lot of people don't realize that we started as a single little tiny small business mindset at the very beginning. And what we found is that we get a lot of larger businesses coming in as well, because they're just looking for the ease of use when it comes to a marketing platform. We're not a typical agency. We are an actual platform that business owners can log into, they become a member of, and they do their own marketing directly from one dashboard. So they don't have to log into multiple places, and we just help them get found. Dean, what's your take on that? What are you hearing from members, and what's your opinion on how we got started?
Basically, my feedback from the members that are using the single location, they've been with agencies in the past. And they said with the agencies that they were using, they were getting, they were still putting in the work. So they like our platform for the ease of use for them, so they can control their information. The agencies that we are working with, they like it because it's just really simple to use. So, but that's the feedback I'm getting, is they like the simplicity and the straightforwardness of our platform, because there's not a lot of twists or turns or anything like that. It's straightforward, and it's very easy to follow.
Definitely. And I mean, when we first started this, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, we started it very much about being able to give back to that small business owner. So we wanted to make it about that from the very beginning.
Right. We just recognized that that the small businesses just weren't getting the attention and that's why we tried to develop this the way we did. And that's why it looks so simple, because business owners just don't have time to work through complex options and stuff like that. So I think that's where we're at with giving it back to the small business owner.
And as we've grown over this last 3 years, we've really gotten into the single location. So if you're a single location business, we have a good way for you to be able to manage just that one location. We also have the multi-location side. So if you're managing multiple businesses, even if they're not the same business type, but you own multiple businesses, you can do that. We have unlimited users inside of our system. We also have a white label piece that we won't even touch on really on this webinar, but that goes into how we work with agencies and they sell our product as their own. But our biggest pieces are having that single location and that multi-location piece, to where we make it really simple to manage everything from that one place, no matter if you're managing just that one business or if you're managing multiple businesses.
Right. And to add to that, Rob, the user piece is a big deal. You can have, if you're a business and you have 5 people that you want to be using it, we don't charge extra for that. It's all included in the price. And that's a big deal for a lot of businesses, because they don't have time to just do, especially the single location. They may not have enough time for themselves, but they have staff that can help them. But they don't have to pay for each additional user. They can log into the platform and add information for their business.
I think that is a huge piece, Dean. I think it's one of those things to where being able to, not only can you have unlimited users inside the system, but you can also manage the permissions. So if you want to be able to approve something before it goes out, or this user can only see this, you can actually change all that directly from the back end.
Right. And on the permissions piece, we had one member that really said they really like it because they get a lot of reviews and they want to respond to the reviews. They want to be that interaction with that. And they want to make sure that when somebody's contributing, that they can review it before they release it. So they have that. That's why the permission thing is a big deal, so that you're making sure that the information for staff members that are contributing or putting out the content that you're looking for.
And the other piece is that we did with our platform, and that I'm really proud that we did, is being able to keep it simple so the non-tech savvy all the way up to the expert marketers can use the platform. And our coaching program and everything, which we'll touch on inside of this webinar today, it's one of those things where we're here to be able to help businesses, no matter your size, be able to be successful and get them found by more local customers. And one of the big things that I like to talk about and that I love about our platform is we actually find people and we get businesses found by people who are currently searching for the products and services they have to offer. Unlike putting an ad out onto the yellow pages or putting the ad into the newspaper like you used to in the past, this actually is getting in front of those people that are looking. I guess it'd be closer to the yellow pages because you went to the yellow pages when you needed something. If you needed that local roofer, you were able to come in and you were able to just pinpoint it. And that's when we got into the crazy names and people trying to move themselves to the top of the list. And I'd say one of my most absolute favorite things about the platform that I love to talk about too is the fact that not only are you going to get in front of the people that are currently searching for your products and services, but you are also able to compete with the big boys. So it doesn't matter your marketing budget because there is no, you pay for access to the platform. We make it simple to put all your information, turn your data into advertising and send it out, but there's no cost per click. There's none of those fees that come into it. It's a flat rate price, which I think is absolutely great from the business side. What are you hearing from members on that?
Well, basically, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that Yellow Pages analogy a little bit. That's what's, we were looking for back in the day. When you look for something, you went and you found that product or service. And the problem was with the old Yellow Pages is it was static and it was all by name positioning. And what's really nice about the way our platform works is you can position yourself and it's dynamic. When you are adding information about your business, you're improving your status on that. And I think that's the biggest thing is because we've had people that have been in business, members that have said, oh, we weren't ranking at all, and we started using your platform. And even though we're newer, we still moved up the board against some of the people that were there because they're not being interactive with the opportunities they have to get themselves out there for local searches.
And that brings me up into my next topic that I want to talk to you about. A lot of people and a lot of our competition, they concentrate, they focus only on Google. We concentrate on Google, we concentrate on Bing, we concentrate on voice search. So no matter if it's that smart speaker sitting over on that shelf inside of there, and if I say her name, she's going to start talking to me over there because I don't think I muted her before this webinar. But it's one of those things to where Alexa, Siri, Cortana, Google Assistant, Bixby, all of those things, we bundle all that together, not to mention the maps. With all these different new cars that are coming out and people's different search terms and all those things for what they're using for platforms, we get you connected to Apple Maps, we get you connected to Bing Maps, Bing Places, and Google Maps as well. So it's one of those things about putting you in the right places where those people are currently searching for your products and services. What are you hearing as far as beyond Google on your side, Dean?
Basically, what I'm hearing right now is that there's a lot of things are going on with Bing and some of their advances they're doing. Granted, we had one member that just had a problem with their account, and I went and looked to see where they were at on Bing. And what's really amazing is that a lot of people don't even realize how many people actually use Bing and other platforms. They think everything is just the one search engine, and it's not. It's all of them. It's all of them together. All the information goes out to all those different networks, and people are really impressed the fact that it's just not one search engine that they have to use. So that's a big deal for some of the small businesses.
I saw a study the other day that Bing powers about 50% of the searches. And I think that's going to increase. I think you're the one that shared the article this morning that was or the news piece this morning that they were talking about Bing. And a lot of that comes from their Chat GPT program that they developed and the AI that's taken in. And we're exploring that side to be able to make things even easier for small businesses. But I mean, it's about being everywhere. It's not about just being in one place. And Google did a great job at being able to market themselves and saying, hey, Google that. But what I see, and I mean, you've been guilty of this, Dean, as well throughout our ventures of what we've done over the last 5 years, if you count your clients, or probably actually more than that. But it's one of those things to where I even saw my wife do this yesterday. She referred to a browser as a search engine and doesn't know the difference between a search engine and a browser. So, I mean, everything gets all tangled up inside of the web of how the internet works and what ends up happening. When a
Yep.
search happens online, not to go too deep into the technical side, but I mean, it looks for your trust level. It looks to see how many reviews you have to be able to gain that trust score. It looks to see how active you are. It looks to see your location. It looks to see all of these things, and it puts it all together and it spits out the best result, because they want to give the best results they possibly can to their end users, because they want them to come back and use their search engine, because they're paying for ads. They're doing all these things inside of their search. And I mean, we help prevent that, but it's one of those things that reduce those budgets. But that's what they're looking for. They're looking to be able to drive that traffic for themselves. So they want to give that user the best results. So we make it easy to be able to create that profiles to where you are optimized to be able to bring you up to the top. So that way you're getting, your business is being found.
Right. And so the other thing we need to talk about is, you're talking about accuracy of information as well. I think that's a really important piece, and we help to make that more accurate with all these networks by the way we feed the information, on a daily basis to all the networks, so that it's
Some are
updated.
multiple.
Yeah, some are, yeah, they are. But at least once a day we're
Yep.
getting a feed to these people, and that provides that accuracy. And we can get into the when you talk about how you're being found and where your location is, the accuracy of the information that you put in on your business information and that kind of thing is important as well.
It is. It's about providing all the right information, having it consistent on each of the networks. That's going to be a huge part of your score. With that being said, inside of our platform, you do it from one spot.
Right.
So you give us that information once, our system breaks it down, makes it a file for each of those networks, and we submit that information out, which I think is absolutely huge.
Right. And so, we talk about, in the marketing world, or the information world, I should say, not necessarily marketing, but you've heard the acronym NAP, right, Rob? As far as your name, address, phone number, that's the key building block that we start with and help you with your business information, and make sure that it's consistent on all the networks. Because, and like you said, it's from one location, so you don't have to go to all the different networks and say, confirm that this is all correct. That's all fed, and we talk to all the networks and make sure that information is accurate.
It is. I mean, that's an absolute huge piece. So being able to make sure all that's accurate. The other piece is being able to generate more reviews, which I'm going to go into our reputation management program
Yep.
next. Reputation's huge, and a lot of businesses are not even taking advantage of the reputation piece because they find it time consuming to respond to reviews. They find it time consuming to monitor what's being said about them. They find it time consuming to be able to generate those reviews, or they don't know how to generate those reviews in a very good way. When I'm doing sales and I'm talking to the different businesses out there, what I'm hearing on my side is people didn't even realize that you could share one link to be able to have a certain amount of networks show up. So that way you're distributing your reviews across multiple networks, not just focusing on one network. Because a lot of people don't realize and think about the user experience on their business. So if I'm a restaurant and I ask for a review, but I don't have a profile already created that review, the place you're asking me to go, I don't have that account, say Facebook, for example. I don't have a Facebook. So it would be hard for me to leave you a review, or it requires me to now take those extra steps. But when I see a list of things I could do, say Facebook, Google, and Better Business Bureau, just naming off 3 off the top of my head. But if one of those things to where now that gives me more options to be able to possibly be able to give more reviews based on that link and making that a good user experience versus what else is there. What do you hear from members on our reputation management?
Well, basically, what I'm hearing right now is a lot of them didn't realize that they could even interact with the reviews. A lot of them were getting reviews and they weren't responding to them. There was, we talked about ranking on the networks, and we talked about engagement, and the review response is the engagement you have to have. And sometimes it's hard to monitor. Like you listed 3 of them, there's more out there, but when you get reviews from all these different places where you can respond, you need to make sure you respond to them. and our platform lets you know that if you're getting reviews and you request reviews from these customers, that they're getting that. And one of the customers, one of our members said, "Oh, I got a 2-star review, and that was I'm really disappointed." And I said, "Well, don't take it personal. Now you're going to get an opportunity to show you have a problem. Everybody has problems. Let's face
I
it.
say
Yeah,
congratulations to
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
right, exactly. But the big thing is how do you respond to that? You can't and that's where this engagement's important. Say, yes, we understand we had a problem. Let's resolve the problem. And the people, and what a lot of people don't understand either is when you respond to reviews, sometimes if you get a resolution, you can ask them if they will rewrite the review or upgrade the review sometimes. And and what's nice about our platform is if that happens, then you can actually go in our response side and respond to that review so it's appropriate to the new. If you get that, if you earn that trust from that customer, so that's a really big deal. And people, and a lot of businesses, like I said, I go look at reviews. That's our new way of recommending people. That's how our trust factor, if you will, is saying, hey, all these people, instead of the next door neighbor saying, hey, go to these guys, they're really good, you're now looking at reviews saying, look, they've got these reviews and they're not perfect, but I don't expect perfect because we have everybody in business, all our members have issues, and it's how you deal with it. It's important.
It's very much on how you deal with it. You don't want canned responses inside your reviews. Our system does not have that feature for that reason. Because when I went to Las Vegas for my 40th birthday the other day, it was one of those things to where I was looking at reviews and I could tell which ones were canned, which ones were not, and that kills the trust factor for me. And did you know when I was going
Exactly.
through our reputation management system for how many places we monitor reviews? Did you know we're over 50 networks now?
I did see that we're growing that list more and more every day. So that's awesome.
And we're doing all that based on member feedback, which I think is pretty
Right.
cool.
Right.
And we can generate a review to any network. So if you are generating a review somewhere where you need to monitor it and we're not already monitoring it, send in a support ticket into us. We want to hear that feedback from you. Our whole entire system is built on member feedback.
Right.
So if
Well,
if you have a need or a problem, let us know.
exactly. Well, it's kind of like the home services people said, hey, and we now have, I believe, Home Advisor. We actually can get reviews from Home Advisor now because we heard people say they'd like to have that in that industry. So we're listening to the members and trying to add any review management that's important to your specific business or industry that you're in.
It's really important, and then going into going into the home service industry, they're really huge on their service area. So let's talk about service area a little
Yeah,
bit.
let's do that.
My opinion when I hear on the service area is I'm hearing that the problem that we end up solving, I guess I'll start there, is the fact that people need to be able to go outside of where their address is. So when a search happens, it is looking for the location of the business. So that's the first thing it looks for. If you're in Greeley, Colorado, it's automatically going to look in that area. We actually inject that information, and this is the difference between regular SEO and local SEO, is we're not waiting for the search engine to scan us or do anything. We're literally injecting that information into it. So we inject the information of the service area, which that allows Google, Bing, or whatever network we're talking about to see the list of the areas which that business serves. So that way it's not as powerful as that exact address, but it's a higher ranking than not having it at all, which means that if you go outside of that area of the town you're in, a lot of the home service guys I talk to and that I've had as clients for years is the fact that they're in that small town or they're working out of their house that's out in the country and they need to be able to target the people that are back in town. I hear about that every day. So it's one of those things to where the service area lets you be able to expand yourself out. You could go from a zip code level, you can go from a city level, and you can go from a state level. You can technically go higher than that, but I recommend city and state or city or zip code using that to be able to target the biggest area.
Right.
But I think service area is huge. What are you
Yeah.
hearing from members right
Well,
now?
actually, I've actually talked to a couple of people that you talk about city and zip code. they're actually doing a county thing too. So if you put a county in there, they're finding that they're trying to cover a whole county, because they're like you said, there's a couple of our members that are in smaller communities. They're outside of bigger communities, and when the search happens, they're not necessarily being found because they're not physically in that city, but they're finding results by doing a coverage by the service area that they're in, by saying they're in this small town, they're going to a big city next to them, or the zip code next to them, and they're finding that they're getting results because of, and again, it's part of the engagement process that makes that more effective too. So
It'd be interesting to see. So I didn't think about the county side. It'd be interesting to see if what the search results would change if they did county, city, and zip, because I think you're allowed 20 total in most of the profiles. It'd be really
right,
interesting to see what that would end up doing for somebody.
right, because you're kind of overlapping those areas a little bit, so you get kind of a triple coverage. It would be an interesting next member I talk to that's asking me, I'm going to say, give us a try. Let's see how that works, because because those algorithms, the way the search engines work, nobody really understands that.
I
I
love
mean,
playing with those algorithms.
yeah, and
I've
the
got a
thing
couple
is,
profiles I'll try it on, and we'll have to update everybody.
yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how that works. So we'll have to give that a try. Then we'll report back. And I would think it would help, because now you're just making it better. So that's I hadn't really thought about trying to triple layer something, but yeah,
Yeah,
it
it would be
might be.
really easy to do. I mean, I don't know if it would gain anything, so I'll try it and I'll see.
Yeah,
I'll put a monitor on it and see what kind of results it was. And I think that's the biggest thing is we pivot constantly. We're looking at different ways. We don't have to go to a board. Everything that comes to Simply Be Found is you and I, and
right.
we get feedback from our members and our team.
Well,
Um,
the other thing too, Rob, is not only are we the co-founders of this thing, we use it ourselves for
we
businesses.
do.
We coach some people, and we look at it differently. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some developers that they're out there and they go, "Oh, this works great," but they really don't look at how it works and how it affects that local business, or that small business or whatever. And we look at it so differently, because we're at a different level of observation than a lot of these agencies are.
We are. I mean, I own my own agencies. I have my agencies still to this day. I'm not in them as much as I once was, but it's one of those things to where, I mean, I get that feedback from the agency level and they've never used it as a business. I've owned my own businesses. You own your own other business now, and you've owned other businesses. I mean, that's a huge aspect that brings a different taste to the table. Let's move into questions and answers. I think that'd be a
Yeah,
good part to talk about.
yeah,
Again, it's one of those things of injecting that information. Questions and answers is a great example of how we inject information into search. So you can actually take all the different questions and answers your business gets. You can put the question in and you can answer it at the same time. So that way it could go out. Most businesses are not answering the questions that are being asked by members. And
right.
this is specific to Google. Yes, we go beyond Google, but this one is majorly Google influence. So questions and answers inside of Google, someone can come and then they can ask a question about a business. When they ask that question about a business, anybody can give an answer. You want to make
Right.
sure as a business owner, you are answering your questions and it's not just somebody else, because you don't know what anybody else is going to say. If you wanted to sabotage a business, go ask questions, have someone ask questions about their profile and have someone else leave reviews. I mean, that would be, or leave
Yeah, leave an
answers to
answer.
those
Yeah,
questions. It'd be horrible. I've seen it
exactly.
happen.
Yeah, and the other thing too is non-responsiveness is also almost as bad, because
Oh, it's a horrible
you
factor.
I was talking with a new member, and they had some questions, and one of the questions was on there: do you have an outdoor seating area? And I said, you didn't respond to that. He goes, well, I didn't know that I could respond. And that's the part that a lot of people just don't know what they don't know. And
A
and that,
ton.
and that's that's a small business thing, because we're as small business owners and members that are using it, they get so busy and being in the business and they're not working on the business, which is that engagement again. But I said, you need to respond to that, because now people are going, do you have an outdoor seating area? I know you do, but these people asked that you need to give that response but then when that search engine, when that search happens and you say find a restaurant near me with an outdoor seating area, that question and
Bingo.
answer is going to say this is a better match for you. So that's the key. That's that. Once again, it's the engagement and authority part of it on your part, saying yes, we are there. We're being engaging, and so that gives you more value. So that's why that's so important. But in addition to customers asking questions, I don't know if you covered it. I don't know if I heard you say this or not, but you can actually in our platform, an owner can generate their own FAQs or or frequently asked questions themselves because you hear them on the phone when people call you and they say, "Hey, do you offer this service or this?" And you can say, and you can actually put that question and answer yourself to give yourself more value. That way, if when people are doing those searches, you add value again, so that it helps rank you when that search happens.
I use it a lot as well when I'm doing marketing for a company to be able to do exactly what you were talking about for the restaurant and the outdoor seating area is be able to inject that information. So that way, when any of the search engines, all search engines are a great big huge algorithm. They're gathering as much information and they're trying to deliver that best result. So the more information it knows about you, the better off your business is going to be on being able to rank up for the things you're looking for. No matter if it's basement remodeling to where do I get my dental implants?
Yep.
All the way to what restaurant to find, and then all the way over to find a dog sitter near me. I mean, it goes all over. So, I mean, it wants to be able to deliver those best results. So, questions
Exactly.
and answers is a kind of that world that really hasn't been touched by a lot of businesses, and it needs to be because it's an awesome tool.
It is. It really is. So and so, that kind of leads us into the next side of this, Rob, is, talking about, just putting the information out there. And we call that the world of posts or, the information that goes on your profiles. So, I'll let you talk tech and then we'll talk about some of the member experiences that go with that
Okay.
possibly. So
From the tech side, when you talk posts, I mean, you're injecting that information once again. You're going to hear me say that a lot because you're not hoping that they're going to come and scrape you and find that information where you're actually injecting it directly into this platform or into the search, whatever it is, no matter if it's voice, if it's Facebook. Our posts work with it doesn't work with voice because posts can't see it, but our voice can't see posts. Well, they might be able to in the algorithm, but we're not even going to go into there. Our post works with Facebook right now. We work with Google Business Profile, which used to be Google My Business. And then it also can work with Twitter. We're going to be adding a lot more into posts, but the big things is you're able to schedule your posts, you'll be able to post them. Think about posts as kind of being like that billboard, or think about it being the newspaper ad. You're able to put the information out about your business. Typically, it depends on the industry type. Typically, you want to post anywhere between 1 to 3 times a week. Depends on the type of business you are. Depends on how active your competitors are. That's a question I get asked in the sales area a lot. I get asked that on the technical side a lot of, well, how often should I post? Well, it all depends on your business. Our coaching program can help you work through that. It all depends on a lot of different pieces. But when you get into posts, say something about your business, have a conversation. Don't just try to be selling all the time, but have a conversation. This is a spot for you to be able to shine. And from an agency aspect of what I've seen for posts over, well, I'll go all the way back to 2008 when I first started working with Facebook and being able to do stuff like that for the agencies. I tried over and over and over again to be able to do it. I tried for your business, Dean, when you were on with me as a client. You are still on as a client, just on a different level now. But it's one of those things to where I tried to be able to say something for your business, and I screwed it up 90% of the time. It got jacked up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those things to where you have to having somebody else learn what to say about your business is a very hard thing. So saying it yourself is going to be a lot better, I guess, is where I'm going with that. What are you seeing on the member side?
Well, basically the members, I have because I talk with a lot of the small business owners on the single location piece, they have time to work on things, but they don't have time, every day to do something. And when you talked about the scheduling, that was huge for them because they said, we have our Monday morning management meeting or production meeting or whatever they have, they go, usually I have about an hour afterwards, and they can actually produce all their posts for the whole week. So that's the big thing is, they did jobs last week, and so a couple of roofers went, we took pictures of the jobs that we did and everything. I said, that's great. Take those pictures, put a description on it about what you did, where you did it, because and we talk. I'm going to kind of jump backwards in my head that if you're putting information out there that it happened in this town, that's part of that service area. I think that there's some there's no proof, but in my mind that helps, and it doesn't hurt you to do that, but. The big thing was they said, well, I was able to put all 3 posts together for the week, and I scheduled one out for Monday to go publish right away, one for Wednesday, one for Friday. I don't have to come back and revisit it. And that was a big deal. And then the other thing is we actually have a way of, when you're doing it, to save your draft, so that if you get interrupted, and you know how when the phone rings, the customer comes first and everything else you're doing stops, and they say that's great because I don't lose the information, because they've had instances where they work on things and then they stop and they delete something or turn something off, and they lose it. So that's a big deal, but it's so important because that visual that you can get with the picture that you can attach to the post is important, and then the information on there. And then of course, you have your call to actions you can apply for Google. I think it only works on Google at this point in time, where you can say there's a link that say call us now, where so if they're on their mobile device, they read your post, they go, oh, they can hit the call button, it'll call you direct. And we've got that set up so that you can add those actions as well on the post. But everybody is very pleased with it, and it's very simple. And it like I said, it's straightforward. It's not difficult to do, and you can actually do it. You can preview it before you publish it, and then publish it. And so it's really, really simple. I know I'm deep diving a little bit on how the feature works, but it's really important to know how simple it is to create these posts.
It is. And I was talking to a home service guy. I'll go back to the home service industry. I was talking to him yesterday on a sales call. And he goes, well, can I do it from my phone? I said, yeah, you can create a post from your phone. And all you do is log into the platform. We don't have an app yet. We have one in development, but we don't have an actual app yet. But we're mobile friendly. So they can go in, they can create that post, and they can send it out there from their mobile phone. And I think that ties right back into the next feature, which would be photos. And photos works right along with posts. They're almost identical, except for one has photos, one doesn't. You can crop your photo, edit your photo, and you can send it out. They have great SEO value for local SEO.
Right. We even actually have a feature that you can put like a line on it. You don't see it on the photo, but you can add some backside information to that photo. It's the information side. So you say this photo is a re-roofing job or whatever, or this has to do with we did dental implants, or whatever you want to put in there. But you can actually put some information, and that adds some value to the back side of the photo as well.
Well, and the fact that we store all of your photos in there to where you can reuse the same photo over and over, or pick from your gallery from posts, I think that's an absolute huge feature. So that way you're reusing your content and being able to re-put it out there. So I think photos is a great thing. I think it and posts go hand in hand. Anything else you want to add about photos?
Well, basically, when back in the day when you just walk into the bookstore or you bought records off the shelf, the photos are what give you that recognition. And so that's why photos are important, because it helps give, when people are they're looking at your profile online or whatever, they see those photos and it gives them some value, saying that it's a connection. And sometimes you select things because of that visual stimulation or something that's recognizable. And so that's why the photos is so important. I think giving you recognition that
I think it is. I think it's one of those great pieces. Let's go into the next step, is being able to offer coupons and offers on the platform. You're able to actually take those, put them into the offers and coupons to where you have expiration dates. You can put your terms on there. You can put all those pieces on. That can get blasted out to all the different networks as well. So if you run any kind of promotions, no matter if it could be an offer from that band is going to be at your restaurant or bar at this time, all the way to a home service person offering some kind of coupon out there, or it might be a law office that's offering, or a dental office. it allows another way for you to go. Now, there's certain directories that we send out to that people go to looking for offers and coupons. So then you get that attraction. It's people actually looking. Google has its own area that can happen on. So I think offers and coupons is huge. But what are you hearing on offers and coupons from member side?
Well, basically, I would the biggest thing that a lot of people like is when they're doing their coupons or whatever, instead of doing the mailers, they can still get that same information out, a 10% off or buy one get one free or whatever they're trying to get that out there, and that lands on your profile, and people can see that, and they can actually interact with you based on those coupons that they're seeing. But the other thing too is, and again, we go back into the functionality that if you have a sale coming up or a coupon that you want to have land on a certain day, you can schedule it out. So you don't have to remember because again, that you get busy and you may forget to hit the send button. You can actually put it in that scheduling process, and it'll go for the exact time and day that you want it to be out there and be seen. So everybody finds a lot of value to that because it just gives you that flexibility, so you don't have to have a staff member maybe or whatever. If you're a smaller business, then you don't have to worry about that staff member. You can still do that, and you make sure it happens. You can schedule out up to a year in advance if you even know that's happening. But we don't, but that's beside the point. But the big thing is making sure that you put the information out there and there's good engagement that happens with that.
Well, and I kind of combined events into offers and coupons.
Yeah, you did.
They'll work the same as far as like a band shows up or whatever.
Right.
Doesn't mean you don't have an offer during that period. So let's move over in events. Events allows you to promote your event. So that band showing up over at your bar or your restaurant, or it might be some sale you have coming up, you can actually put it out there. If you have a special promotion going on with it, and you want to be able to do that, I would do one as an offer and I would do one as an event because it's going to be in two different places. And you can kind of drive that traffic both different ways. But events is a great way to advertise your events that you have coming up. It gets put onto an event calendar for local. It really could build your local SEO.
Yeah, well, we actually had one member that actually put out that they had a radio day where that radio came in and they did their little spiel like that. They put it out there, they broadcast it as well. That way that they said, hey, we're doing a one-day radio event at our place. Come check it out, because they were also, like you said, it kind of overlaps a little bit because they were offering sales and coupons during that time, offering a sale, but getting people in, and that was an event that was a big deal because a lot of people follow some of those radio events like that. And that's one specific example, but the big thing is letting people know if you're let's say in your healthcare and you're doing a class on diabetes, you can say we're doing a class on diabetes or something like that. So it's really a way for you to communicate. I I don't know. I'm rambling right now, but But the whole point of it is you can talk about anything you want to about your business. That's the key. Is no matter what your business is, it works for your business. Our platform.
It does. And one thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about menus. We have the ability for menus to be created for any kind of product or service you have to offer, or being able to, if you're a restaurant and you have that kind of menu, being able to take all of that information and be able to put it out there. When I talk about injecting information, this is probably one of the biggest areas that you can inject information. So no matter if you're a product, you're a service, or you're a restaurant, what I see happening right now in the business world is people taking a photo of their menu. And I see this in restaurants especially. They take a picture of that menu. They just lost all local SEO value for this because it doesn't know what's on that picture. So if someone's searching for fish tacos near me, it doesn't know you sell fish tacos. And so one of the big things I have to stress enough is make sure you're using the menu feature. Make sure that you're putting the products and services and anything you have to offer inside of there, because you don't necessarily have to list a price, but you just have to be able to put what it is, put a description. How can you put so much value into the content that you put out there? What are you seeing on a member side, Dean?
You know what? I think you pretty well covered it, Rob. I mean, the biggest problem we go back to the restaurant with the outdoor seating thing. They had taken a picture of the menu, and they they weren't getting the value from it because that information, it recognizes it no different than a photo. So that information, that depth of information is so important. And that's why the menu is, even whether you're a restaurant or a service menu, you just need to make sure you're putting the information out there as much as possible. And then that way, they're finding you, which, that pretty much, I think you pretty well covered that whole thing, because it's the information, the content, so that search is relevant. That's the biggest thing. And so,
It injects that information was absolutely huge. So now we've
yeah,
talked about all these different features.
oh,
It's gonna increase the amount of leads that you have come into your business. It's
yep,
going to increase the
exactly.
amount of sales. That's how we track it. We don't have fancy reports because like I said at the very beginning, we built this based on a small business mindset. So with that being said, the number one way a small business ever knows if something is working, it's not by how many people viewed it, it's not by how many people liked it, it's not by all of that. That can all be faked. I've seen agencies fake that for years now, and I don't want to feed into the bullshit that's already out there. It's one of those things to where I just want to be able to see the results. So our results are tracked by how many phone calls you're getting, and you're the one that knows that, because you're going to see it in your pocketbook. You're going to see it in that bank account because you're going to see an increase in sales, or you're going to see it in an increase of leads. But the biggest question that comes into the mindset, and that was a newer problem that we just released a feature to solve, is how do I start to manage that data, and how do I use that data and share that data on my own stuff? So the last thing I want to kind of talk about, well, not the last thing, but the last things as far as feature goes, I want to talk about that I'm really excited about is the CRM feature, the leads, what we call leads feature. That leads feature I designed to where, along with Dean, to be able to make it super simple to be able to manage things inside of buckets. You can name them whatever you want. It comes in, you can move it, you can put notes into it, you can do everything with it. We are not a complicated CRM. We are not something that's going to do all these sequencing and make it really complicated. It comes in, you leave some notes, you move it between buckets, however you want to manage those. Have you had any kind of feedback yet on that at all, Dean?
Well, basically, we had one feedback, and when you were talking about moving between buckets, because you came in, you have your new, let's just say it's, you define it, you had your new leads, and this, you came in through the website or the phone, and you create the new lead, and they moved it between buckets. And we were saying, well, we don't know what the actions were, so we added a history function to show what's happened, so that when you move it between bucket A to bucket B, and let's say Susie made a phone call or made an email, you can put a note in there. That way, somebody who sees that lead next sees that information, because that was a really big, important thing. Besides having the information for that new asset, or the new customer that could possibly come to your business, there was also a history of what interactions you'd have, if you gave a quote, whether they accepted the quote, whether you had to have feedback to them. So there's a whole history section. That was a big deal to add that to the leads piece on there. But everybody likes it. It's simple. It isn't going to work like some of the real complicated funnel systems out there. If that's what you're looking for, this is not what you're looking for. But it gives a small business the ability to manage and see where they're at and to move them. And we also store the information historically, so that if you want to do a campaign later, we have that information. You can pull it back out from our leads list that we generate from the leads buckets, if you will.
And I pulled most of the information of how we designed that system based on some other stuff I've used with other clients in the past and our test users that I worked really closely with. And all they wanted to be able to do, I'll go back to the home service industry. They wanted the lead to come in. So someone goes onto their website. We have a way, which I'm going to get into next, or we're going to get into next, is the widgeting system for how you can put stuff on your website. But it's one of those things to where they fill out that form on the website, it comes in, so you have a new leads column, and then you create another one that says I called, or I left a voicemail,
Right,
or it's in the sales process and quoting. So that way you can walk them through whatever system and whatever funnel that you do, whatever your process is, because I've seen some strange processes in my years of doing this. So the lead CRM piece is super simple, super basic. It is not complex, but it works for probably 80% of the businesses out there. that
I
use
would
that
agree.
system.
I would agree with you 100% that there's some businesses, some industries that are way more complicated. But for what we do, for like you said, most of the businesses, this is a great way to get that. And so let's talk about how leads come in. We've created that widget piece, which is the ability for us to put it on your website, so you can say contact us or get a quote from, and it'll drop into your bucket then from
Yep.
from that widget that we've created for you.
And we expanded out widgets to be able to work with our other tools as well. And we're going to be expanding out even further. But you can do things like share your reviews on your website. You can say, hey, I only want to show reviews of 3 and above for 3 stars or 3 likes or whatever it might be.
Right.
And so where you can filter those out and where it constantly updates. So if you get new leads coming in or new reviews coming in, not new leads, but if you get new reviews coming in, it'll automatically display those, and it rotates them through so they're not seeing the current one. And it has many
Right.
different views that you can do. You can post out your questions and answers, different parts of your business information. So we work with agencies majorly on this. I'm seeing a lot of use from the agency side to where now they don't have to update that phone number if that changes, or the business name or the address. If the customer updates it on their end, it automatically gets updated. So the widgeting system is one of those things to where it's it's not complex. It's simple. It gives a code that can be put on any website. Doesn't matter if you designed it on WordPress, if you designed it on GoDaddy, or if you designed it on Wix. It doesn't matter. It works with any website. And it's dynamic to where you get local SEO value from it. You get the schema codes, which 90% of the people watching this probably won't know what a schema code is. That's fine. But it's one of those things to where you get that local SEO value from it to be able to grow your business and be able to share that information, because you're collecting all this information, you're doing it. Let's use that data. Let's turn it into something that's useful and beneficial to the people looking for you.
I would agree with you 100% on that, Rob. So it's a really nice tool, and it doesn't matter who your web person is. If you've done it yourself or you have somebody out there, you can put these codes in and you can put that information in so it lands on the page that you want it to land on as well. So
Correct. And you can have different ones on a different website, but I mean, if you want to go into that, we could go into that more detailed. I mean, that one can be really complicated if you get really dive deep into it, if you want to make it complicated. But one big thing that's changed over since we started 3 years ago, Dean. By the way, we're on our 3-year anniversary this month.
I would not you say that it has been.
It
We
has been.
started this.
I didn't think about it until I just thought about it.
Right. So
Something that's really changed for us is our to-do list. It's a coaching program. We look at the data from all of our members, and we really dial that into creating a simple to-do list and what we're seeing that's getting the best results for each of those industries. So when you first log into the platform, technically you could follow our coaching program, you can follow our to-do list, and it'll walk you through every step of the way and hold your hand every minute of it. And not to mention, you have complete access to our support, which our support is willing to help. If you are stuck, if you don't know what to post, you don't know what kind of photos to share, you're not getting the results you want, that is part of the coaching program as well, to where we can help you every step of the way. Dean, I'm gonna let you take this one. You know the member side better than I do on this one. So
yeah. Since I get to handle a lot of the support questions and marketing questions, with the help. But the biggest feedback I got from a lot of our members is, I get the fact that I need local SEO, and the reason why the coaching and the to-do list was created is so that you don't have to remember to do a post. We tell you you should do a post. You haven't done one. We don't tell you haven't done one. Say you need to do a post, and you have the option to either interact with it. You can turn it off. And it'll turn off for a day or two, and then it'll come back on, and you'll see it. But it's really to help you to get through what needs to give you the best, because like you said, we look at what's going on with the other businesses, and it's telling you that you haven't done a post, or it'll ask you, do you have any events coming up, or do you need to change your business hours because of all those different things that are important to your business, to make sure you're communicating to the customers, so when they see your profile, you're out there, you're being in front of them, and it helps you to rank in that. And we call it the 3-pack. That's what a lot of people do. So there's some there's some of them, they're 2-packs, but if you want to be out there, you've got to get that information out there. And what we're doing is we're coaching you, and the members that have responded said it's so nice because I forgot to do a post, and I'm glad that it told me to do one this week, or it told me, or it asked me about an event. I forgot all about the upcoming President's Sale, let's say. Oh, thanks for that reminder, because I forgot to push that out there for
Are
that
you going to be
event.
open
So
on this date? To be
exactly.
able to change your hours, because I mean that changes all the time.
Right, exactly. So
And as
people are
small
very,
business owners, we forget about that.
yeah, exactly. But like I said, it's there for you to help you. You don't have to follow, you can follow it. We recommend you follow it, but you don't have to. You can do whatever you want on there, but it's just an extra tool to help you get through it. And if you complete the whole list, it's going to help your local SEO value. And we kind of give you a little thing says, oh, you're scoring better because you're doing these things. It's not really anything, but just to say, hey, you're doing better kind of deal. It doesn't tell you how you do against everybody else, because how you rank is how you, based on your input and engagement and that whole thing that we've talked about throughout this whole conversation.
And another piece is the coaching program. If you want to know how your competition is, so if you want to know how the best way to be able to hit them and you're just not getting those results, or that you want to be able to get a head start on that, contact us. We have tools at the side of our arsenal over here that we can actually dive deep into your competitors to know what they're doing, what they're not doing, and the spots that you could shine even more. So if you're in a competitive world or your competitive market, we can help you through those areas. And that's our platform. That's who we are. We are a way for your business to be found by more local customers, with people searching for products and services you sell. We put you in front of them to be able to increase your business. And we track everything by getting you the results. So if you're looking for results, Simply Be Found can help. If you want to learn more, check us out at simplybefound.com. Anything you have to finish it off, Dean?
No, I think that's everything's really good. And I just want to say we have a great development team that's taken us a long ways in this process and this journey. And I'm very proud of where we're at. It's a great platform. It's easy to use. And I encourage everybody to give it a try, because it'll just help your business.
And here's to starting year number
Year three.
you're number 4 here.
Yeah. We did finish our third. Yeah. So we're going into it.
Yeah, we just finished
So
year 3, so it's gonna be a great. Well, we look forward to continue to help everybody, and I thank all of our current members and everybody who's made this possible.
yes.
And it's been an amazing journey.
Yes. I want to thank everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.